Welcome to the You Decide podcast. I'm Dr. Tiffany. We are going to bring you stories of ordinary people who have chosen to live an extraordinary life, outside of their comfort zones and into confidence, possibility, and certainty. You are just one decision away from living your most aligned life, because let's get real, that's what we all want. Welcome to the You Decide podcast, where we chat with ordinary people living an extraordinary life. I've been nudged to create this for a few years, yet I had so many insecure thoughts, like how the heck do I do this? And will it even be good enough? And the dreaded, what will people think? So I decided to take my own advice. Here's to stepping out of comfort zones, eliminating all excuses and just going for it. The world needs to hear stories of hope, of possibility, and of connection. We're going to talk about real stuff. And if you don't know me yet, I have a tendency of saying things that other people think. I've heard many times, OMG, did she just say that? Or Tiff? Or they cover their eyes like, oh my gosh, here she goes again. So yeah, I likely said that. One of my major motivations for doing this is we don't talk about real stuff anymore. And I think it's really important. We're losing connection. And instead, we're just talking about surface things like the weather, like being really busy, or waking up to a Monday morning workday again. Oh, and by the way, did you know the majority of heart attacks are on Mondays? Hello. Come on, people. Let's figure out what we love and how we want to make people feel, and let's do that. So back to not talking about real stuff. How about living a life walking on eggshells so we don't offend the easily offendable person? Instead, we just bite our tongue. I want to talk about real stuff so that we don't need to walk on eggshells. Instead, we get to connect face to face. We get to hear people's voice. That's what I want to bring through this podcast, is a change in perspective. So on the note of perspective, what continued to pull at my heartstrings is the idea of connecting people to learn about different ideas, thoughts, and ways of life through their stories. I'll also share my experiences in life and practice as a mom and a wife and all of the roles that we live in, and in the struggle and in the bliss, okay? Because that's another thing we don't talk about. We don't talk about the suck. Why not? I don't know why not, but we're going to talk to people that are able to talk about the suck and how to move through that. So instead, we just stage our life on Facebook or any other social media with expectations of what we want other people to see, other people to hear, other people to think that we should say, do, and think. Comparison and ego. Connection is the essence of life. It's the essence of living. I love when someone's gifts are acknowledged, when they're reminded what awesome work they've done and are doing in their life. That's what this is about. Sharing stories from ordinary people living an extraordinary life. Not the shiny, blinky, flashy kind of life from the outside, but the anchored, certain, confident, and connected life from the inside. These people have chosen to use their gifts to help others, despite fearing to step out of that safe, predictable comfort zone. You know, that thing we talk about a lot. And we'll be talking about health, of course, because without it, we have nothing. Health in all areas, because how we do one thing is how we do everything. If you're struggling with your physical health, every single other area of your life is affected. And so now it's to find out what's really creating that physical decline. We'll, of course, share stories of chiropractic, babies, women trying to have babies, kids, athletes, women struggling with anxiety, depression, chronic disease, addictions, everything in between. I've seen so many miracles that didn't make any medical sense. I've seen bodies and families transformed. I've seen past traumas be healed. And that, my friends, is hope. Because I believe that we are brilliant, not broken. And it's something I teach and lead with every day. When we bring pain and trauma out of the dark and into the light, it will heal. When we realize we're more like others than different, we heal. When we realize that life expression is more important than genetics, our bodies and minds begin to heal. So the best part is that you get to decide, because when we choose to live in the driver's seat of our own life, we make decisions we're 100% responsible for 100% of the time. Stop hiding, stop hiding, quit blaming others, and break the belief pattern that life is happening to you. Because when we believe that life happens for you, you see the lessons and perspectives. And in that, you can see if your thoughts, beliefs, and actions are congruent and aligned. We have gifts to help people, and I believe our job in this lifetime is to uncover them and share them with the world. Because once you see, you can't unsee. Once you learn, you can't unlearn. And this is what I love about what You Decide stands for. We have the ability to choose how we live our life. We do. These stories and experiences will come to you. These stories and experience that will come to you will remind you that you too have a story. Get up and own it, then share it. Life doesn't happen to us. We create how we want to live it. So I ask you to listen, and of course I ask you to share. Send this to all women. Send this to mamas thinking that, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can get through this stage. Send it to someone in private practice struggling to find their way in the roles that are so demanding to build a business and to maintain a family. Send this to anyone struggling in a relationship, with anyone struggling with a health challenge, a mental challenge, a chronic health issue, where they believe that their current path is their only path. Sometimes all we need is a different perspective, one that gives hope to live and to truly live your best life. You decide. Thank you so much for listening and being willing to go all in. Ditch the excuses and the comfort zones and make a decision that nothing can stop you. You can find the show notes below, and I'd love for you to share, subscribe, and rate this podcast, but only if you love it.